All right, so the first way I want to show you to build a face is from using pictures of faces and hair that I take off the web and use. Certainly, you can start by finding a face that is exactly what you want on the web and using the select key to cut out around that. But what if it isn't exactly the face or the hair that you want? So here's one of the ways I build a face. So the first thing I do is I'm going to open my screen and I want to get a single layer, and then I'm going to insert on it. When I start, I always pull a croquis from a series of body drawings that I bought online. And so I'm going to click this number 18, and this is a stamp. So when I click the canvas, that's the body stamp that's there, right? And so I'm going to use this as my basic proportions. So I can make this however big I want it relative to the canvas. All right, now I'm ready to start building the face. So what I did was I found a photograph online that had a face that somewhat had the shape of the actor. And if you look really closely around the edges, you can see that I used the select feature to very carefully, I'll just kind of do it again here. I use the select feature to very carefully cut out the parts of the face that I wanted. Okay? So that I got the random face, knowing that the neck part was going to be hidden under something and I was going to do something to the hair. So I very carefully cut it out around the ears and the cheeks on both sides. I also chose a face that had the light coming from the direction I wanted the light to come from. Now, the nice thing is, if I want the light to come from the other layer, the other side, sorry, I can just flip this, right? But then I didn't like the hair, so I needed to add the hair. So the next thing I did was I went to the web and I found the hair that I like. But I didn't want that particular face, but I wanted to put, I'll move this up here. I wanted to put that hair on this face, right? So what I need to do now is cut out that hair so that it fits on the face. And here I'm going to use the feathering tool because I need to cut this out so I get a soft edge around the hairline so it will blend into the hairline of the picture that I've already got for the face. So I'm going to open my layers menu. I'm going to get rid of the face. I'm going to open my hair menu. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that and then minimize it. So I always have one in case I make a boo-boo. Then working on the layer I want to work on, and if I can rename this hair. Okay. I'm going to take my select tool and I'm going to cut around the hair. I'm going to leave myself part of the brow. I want some of that flesh there. Cutting right on the edge. I'm going to make a circle like this, and then I'm going to hit feather. And I'm going to feather that about 3, and then I'm going to hit cut. All right? Then I'm going to do the same thing to the part of the hair that I didn't do. Tracing it, closing circle, coming down here to feather, hitting 3, and then hitting cut. All right? Now what I can do is I can open up the face that I want. I'm going to grab the hair. Whoops, I need to switch my layers around because I want the hair top of the face, right? I can grab this over here. Let me move the canvas. And then I can size this down so that it fits on my new actor. And then if it looks to me like that shadow, if you look right over here, as you're looking at the screen at the right eye, you can see that the shadow around the eye is in the wrong place. I'm going to go up here to be sure I'm on the hair layer. I'm going to hit my select again, and I'm going to just take off a little bit more of that shadow. And this time I'm going to feather it at about 5. And now I've softened that. And now that hair looks much more like it belongs on the head. Now, one of the mistakes people make when they do hair is they forget about hair coming from around the back of the head, right? So if you look at the left ear, right, the hair looks kind of plotted on, and it also looks the same on the right ear. So how do I fix that? I'm going to duplicate the hair, and I'm going to take one of those and move it underneath the head, and I'm going to grab the hair that's on the back. I'm going to grab my arrow tool and move it down. And now, do you see how I filled in the hair on both sides of the head? So now when I minimize that, it looks like he's got hair on both sides of his head. Then I can do one of two things. I can minimize the hair in the head so it's one layer, right? If I know I'm not going to change it, I can also duplicate those layers and keep them as single layers. So if I'm sure I've got what I want, then I can minimize this down, and merge down, merge down. Now I've got those three layers all as one layer, so I've got my new head. I can open my body. Then I can grab my head, and I'm going to make it a little bit more. And then I can grab my head and move it up to my croaky and scale it so that it fits in roughly the right place. And now when I go bring that up to the full intensity, I'm going to move this up here, move this down here, move this up here. Now I've got a head that fits on that body with hair that it did not have. So that's one of the ways that I will construct faces. The trick is, remember about the feathering technique to soften the hairline and the edges around the hair. And always remember to look and see if you need to actually put hair behind the head so it doesn't look like the hair is just sitting on the head. It looks like the hair is growing out of the head.